Hi guys, and welcome to China Perspective. My name is 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃, and you may know me as a German recruiter in Asia. Today I want to talk about a term that is often used in the context of China. We call it China speed. But what exactly does it mean? So we usually hear it in three kinds of contexts. The first one is in awe, like how did they build that subway line so fast? Or during COVID times, it was how did they just build an entire hospital in 10 days? Or my personal favorite that I've been muttering to myself quite frequently is, I'm 100% sure that skyscraper was not there yesterday. The second one is in disbelief and admiration. Wait, that company pivoted the entire product line in 2 weeks? Or how is it possible that we only release a new model once a year and they do 3? For example, Apple usually releases one new flagship model once a year or so, while Chinese competitors such as Huawei, Xiaomi, or Oppo release them several times each year, maybe even once a quarter. And then number 3 is the pity ones, like, wow, these poor people have no work-life balance. We get replies from Chinese colleagues even at night on a Saturday. They are never switched off. So what is China speed really? Is it just hustle? Is it state planning? Is it culture? Or is it something entirely different? I would say China speed isn't just about how quickly buildings go up or how fast you can get your dumpling delivered. It's also a mindset. It's a work rhythm. It's a feeling of having to catch up or to be left behind. It's a strategy, and increasingly it's becoming a competitive edge. One that you will also have to deal with as Chinese firms are increasingly going global or Zhuhaiying, and coming to your home market and competing with you on your home turf. If you do not see it yet, please just wait a few years, not a lot, maybe 2 or 3 years, and no matter where you are, you will see Chinese firms competing with the brands you buy today. What I mean with this specifically is that there are many countries where the people want to work less and enjoy their life more. And don't get me wrong, I totally get it. And of course you can. You can absolutely work less. Less than today, less than your parents did. But you cannot have it all at the same time. So what most people, especially in Europe, do not want to think about is this. Yes, you can work less, but you cannot at the same time maintain your income and therefore your standards of living as it is now. There's a price for everything, and this is not a debate that's being discussed honestly enough in many countries, in my opinion. We will have to do a lot more and have to do it a lot faster than today, including the smart use of AI, which is a whole nother skill set for the workforce today. And we will likely still not be able to reach the level of economic growth our parents had, especially in Europe. What does it mean for us as people and for us as companies? And what will we have to expect when it comes to China's speed? Well, it's fast decision-making, it's fast prototyping, and also it's fast logistic and rollout. We have fast feedback loops and, very importantly, fast pivots when the environment shifts. We also call this a 3 steps forward and 2 steps backward mindset. While Western teams are still holding alignment meetings, Chinese teams are often already testing version 2.0 in the market. And the real difference? Well, in China, action often precedes perfection, and that changes everything. In many aspects of our life, we often value potential very, very high, even too high maybe. So we say, oh, he or she has great potential to be a top student, but if they don't study, they won't be. Or we say he or she has great potential to be a great singer or chef or an artist, but if they don't practice, they won't be. So while yes, and I'm saying this as a recruiter who learned the hard way to differentiate between potential and actual skill, potential is great to have and makes things a lot easier. But if it's not followed by action, committed action in the real world and not in your head sitting on the sofa, then potential is not always worth a lot. So there's a saying you probably know that says, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. Well, guess what? China works hard. It's in their culture. So let's look at one example which is coming to all of our doorsteps. And that is the explosion in R&D that you probably missed, because the scale is staggering. So for example, in 2024, China's R&D spending hit 500 billion US. That's 2.68% of GDP, above the EU average and nearing OECD frontrunners like Germany and Korea. So in general, economists agree that spending in R&D helps with job creating, economic growth, acceleration, and enhanced competitiveness and innovation ability. But it's not just about how much, it's also where it's going. So we see basic research booming here. Things like quantum computing, AI chips, life science, deep space, and advanced materials. I actually made a video about the AI industry and how the government is pushing this industry. I'm going to link it for you in the comments. Check out how China plans to dominate the industry in the years to come and is making impressive headway. But there's another part that people miss. China has also led the world in patent applications since 2011. Let me say that again, 2011. Today is the summer of 2025, so it's almost a decade and a half. In 2023, China led global patent filings with approximately 1.64 million applications, accounting for about 47% of total filings worldwide. Guys, total filings, that's not much shy of half of all the global patent filings. And yes, quality and all of that. But some of those will stick. It's a numbers game. This is an incredible number, and it's showing a 3.6% growth from the previous year. So no, not every product you will offer has potential to be a hit. Not every design you will bring out will be loved by your customers. If you only do one product, it better work. If you do 10 products, you have room for 8 of them to fail because the other 2 can carry your firm to the next success. But patents isn't even the real flex. No, the real flex in this country is the speed of commercialization. Western firms sometimes sit on their tech for years. In China, it hits the market fast, gets tested, gets adjusted right after, and then gets monetized in real time. Companies like Xiaomi, for example, use their users' feedback to continually develop new products. That means that not only do they get hundreds of millions of inventors working for them for free, and now you ask, why for free? Well, it's the users who submit their problems, their suggestions, their complaints, and their improvement ideas via requests or feedback forms or report problems. And this is also in real time. And millions of people chime in. And the product they are looking at is a product they have already purchased, and it's in their hand. So this is innovation optimization with China speed. That means that a product that has been commercialized is already being upgraded and improved upon while it is being used. So the question is, why can China move so fast? And no, it's not magic, of course. There are real systems and factors behind China's speed. On the one hand, we have centralized planning. One-party governments means no deadlock. National plans become local action within a short time and get implemented across the country. No back and forth in elections where, one president changes the direction of the country or a guideline or a law that the previous president decreed. No 4-year election cycles where politicians are scrambling to please the largest demographic of voters to ensure they get elected again, and sometimes with laws in favor of those very large voter groups, but not really making sense in the long term for the entire country. I am very grateful to be from a democratic country, but sometimes I look at my own government at home and I wonder what is going on and how that will play out for our children and our children's children. Another point here is infrastructure first mindset. Roads, power, logistic, all pre-built to support scale. The logistic structure and network are second to none, and all is fairly new, meaning it works reasonably reliable, it's not broken, it's not under construction. Couple that with the fact that almost everything is already produced in China or can in theory be produced in China. And yes, I know, not really everything, and not at all quality levels. But most of the time, you will not have to wait 1 month, 2 months, 3 months for a product to come in from a different country and deal with paperwork or even tariffs. China also employs what we call artificial clustering. That means all similar industries are next to each other geographically. This can be the AI district here in Shanghai, where many of the AI companies are based. That can be the new automotive cluster in Hebei province, where Volkswagen Anhui, NIO, BYD, Chang'an, Ankai, and so on have settled down nearby each other and started to build the new energy vehicle R&D and production hub, together with another 3,000 or so enterprises across the intelligent electric vehicle industry chain, covering everything from upstream to downstream suppliers specializing in intelligent driving, sensors, components, batteries, motor controls, and they're all there for exactly the same reason. All this artificial clustering can be something beautiful, like a very old street in which each store sells calligraphy, paint supply, brushes, and picture frames. It's very normal to have these clusters around the same product category or similar products in China. And what that does is it shortens delivery times, and that makes a huge difference. Another point is data scale. 1 billion users feed AI and product algorithms. China's tech giants can test, iterate, and scale faster because of their raw input power, which speeds up prototyping and production later. And in my opinion, one of the most important points for last: ambition and pressure. Culturally, there's a very strong push towards advancement. The phrase "𝗬𝗵𝗁 eat bitterness" isn't just about hard working. It's also not a happy phrase showcasing the slowdown in China, but it is supposed to remind people of having grit and perseverance to continue working hard because there is no other choice. So let's talk a bit more about the working culture that makes all of this happen. In general, speed doesn't happen without pressure. And it's not only about the China speed. I would even say it is about China hunger. Chinese are in general a hard-working culture, but they also by and large have a deep hunger to improve their lifestyle, to make the next investment, to strive for a better life. This is also because not so very long ago, in their living memory, many had little and hard times still exist in very recent family memories. While in Europe, we strive for shorter working days or Fridays or 4-day working weeks and value a coffee with friends in a street-side cafe more than many Chinese, up until today, have valued the chance to work harder, take on extra projects, to secure that promotion and secure the salary increase. So there's a very high expectation for excellence and performance, which runs through many Asian cultures actually, and is already instilled in childhood. We all know the very, very cliché jokes when an Asian parent is not happy at all with an A- and scolds the kid, and Western parents are ecstatic and showing the grades of a B result. Asian parents want the best for their child, and in their mind, that is achieved by getting the child to study and to work really, really hard. Western parents also want the best for their child, but they have a different parameter and think creativity and free play investing time is what will make the child the happiest. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying that these mindsets are influenced by culture, and that is why they're different. The famous 996 work culture, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, is still alive, especially in startups and tech firms. Many employees working these hours are white-collar employees, meaning office workers, and not blue-collar migrant workers working in sweatshops, as you might have expected. They often work in tech roles, and they're not poorly paid either. Please don't think that. It's just that the hours are very long and very hard. The companies know that they can do it because if that employee won't work this hard, another one will. But this isn't just about hours. It's also about the intensity and the clarity of goals. People know what needs to be done and they do it fast, often because they must. They really have to. And it's not only what they give, working hours, it's also what they gain, and that is experience and knowledge. The extra skills and capabilities that helps them outperform even in this hyper-competitive environment. People in China need to think faster and make faster decisions. They have to, because everything is moving at China's speed. We learn to decide on things that are somewhat out of our area of expertise. We have to get used to the reality of making decisions when you do not have all the information available. Making an important decision which is 75% of the knowledge, unthinkable in many places, but here you have to because of the pressure of time, and to not act is worse than an incorrect decision. Incorrect decisions can be adjusted tomorrow or next month or next year, but inactions lets you fall behind too much. It is very intense to work with China speed, but it is also transformative. As someone from Europe, I have experienced this myself. We never know how much we can do and how fast we can do it until we have to. The large majority of Chinese will absolutely reply to messages, emails, or calls during the weekend. If you're a foreigner here, you often get kind of sucked in. So yes, I'm also meeting clients during the weekend. And yes, I'm also having interviews in the evening or at 7 a.m. at Pudong Airport, because that was just the only available time slot. And no, for most of us, there's not a natural expectation for time off in exchange or extra pay. You just kind of do it because it has to be done. And you know what's weird? It doesn't really feel unfair because everybody's doing it. And if I compare myself to all my friends here, Chinese or foreign, we all work like crazy. Therefore, I feel what I do here is normal. We always, as human beings, measure ourselves against the people in our reference group. They can be our friends or colleagues or what have you. As long as they are all earning the same, we feel we are not underpaid. As long as they're all working the same hours, we do not feel that we're working too much. In fact, I often meet people who do a lot more than me, plus an MBA on the side or have an extensive hobby. I mean, really, when do they sleep? I don't know, but it's seen as something desirable and it's something motivating to many people here. They will not say, oh no, you should take a rest. Most of them will say, wow, let me know your tips for optimization so I can also do more and be more. And again, no, this is important. I am not recommending this to everybody. There are many sacrifices that come with this, absolutely. Mental health issues are a real concern. Burnout, depression, anxiety are often seen as a weakness people try to not talk about and don't often get help for. Your value as a human being is not derived from how much you work, how much you earn, or how much you do in general. That's not what I mean. What I'm trying to say is to compare how much our direct environment greatly shapes how we perform and how we see performance and work, and also what we desire for ourselves. You know the saying that we grow with our challenges? So in many parts of this world, the work life is hard, no doubt about it, but not as hard as in many other places. Out of this comparative comfort comes less growth. If growth is what matters, then China is making us here grow faster. So why is this important? It is important because of China's size. If China was a tiny country, the rest of the world would not have to be concerned. But China is not tiny. With China's speed being a dominant attitude toward work and growth, it is now starting to spill over from domestic growth inside China to global growth in your home market. Which brings us to the question, is speed a real business strategy? So let's pause here, because that is a deeper question that also international firms have to ask themselves. And you may say, oh, but my firm is in China, we are just producing. Or you may say, my firm is China, but we're also in 10 other countries or 20 other countries. Do I still need to keep up with China's speed? Well, is speed itself really a valid business strategy, or is it just a feature of working in China? The short answer is yes and yes. So speed can give you a first mover advantage. It can give you faster feedback and iteration. It can also enable you to capture short-lived market windows. It helps to build strong brand momentum. And if that sounds uncomfortable to you, allow me to offer these different kind of perspectives. If you are here in China and you manage to be competitive, or even just reasonably competitive in one of the most hyper-competitive markets in the world, then the pace, the structures, the processes, and the systems you set up right here in your China entity, they can be replicated in other countries too. Imagine you take China as your learning ground and give yourself the hardest crash course on speed and innovation. And then you take what you learned here, whatever that may be in your case, and apply that or parts of it according to your law in other countries. In the other country where life runs at a normal speed, where no one does things in China's speed. I mean, what advantages will you give yourself? Imagine out-innovating your competitors over there. Imagine what you can do. I think it's quite exciting. And then also imagine what happens if you think you're safe in your other markets, because things are slower there. But as China is going global, the speed of it might in the future also swap over. I don't think we can ignore how the world becomes faster and faster, of course, not only because of China's speed, but also because of AI, the convergence of technologies, improved communication, and information sharing, and how easy it is to work across countries and languages nowadays and assemble your very best team that really works for your needs. But of course, Speed is not everything. Systems are needed. Not all products can be speedy. Some things have to be done with care, and in the end of the day, it needs to align with your risk profile, because there can be a strong flip side, such as trade-offs and pressure. Everything comes at a price, and we have to decide if we are willing to pay it. There are some very valid concerns and limitations that we face here. Number one, for sure, is quality. Move too fast and you'll skip steps. China has seen buildings collapse and apps fail spectacularly from lack of testing. Speed just means speed, and an increased mathematical chance that 1 out of the 100 or so products will stick. It does not mean that the individual product or outcome are actually better. Also, bureaucracy isn't going away. It just gets postponed. Contracts, payments, paperwork, often sorted after the fact, and sometimes painfully, And of course, the very real labor strain. As said, burnout is real. Mental health concerns are rising across various groups. Gen Z workers are increasingly saying, no thanks. This is including here in China the terms like 𝗵𝗵𝗶 lying flat, which I first heard in 2021 and describes especially younger people just tapping out of China speed or the 996 working culture, only willing to do the absolute minimum to get by and rejecting the ways to advance in their career and climb the social ladder. An even more emphasized version of this are the so-called web people, 𝗍𝗍, which is a term that came up last year or maybe the year before, just after the pandemic, and when the economy slowed down a fair bit in China. So it basically means complete withdrawal from a productive society, embracing a reclusive, low-energy lifestyle without any shame. It often means spending entire days in bed, eating takeout, avoiding social interaction, maybe slacking on personal hygiene and working itself altogether. So yes, everything has a price, and everybody would be very well advised to keep their own mental and physical well-being in mind, and that of the people in their care as well. So guys, this was it, my little explanation on what China speed is, what enables China speed, the good and the bad, and what you as a firm may have to expect in the future. In summary, China speed is real, it's fast, it's structured, and it's not going to slow down. It's built on infrastructure, work culture, ambition, and political will, and yes, it comes with a cost. But it's changing how the world innovates, and Western firms that ignore this pace risk becoming irrelevant. So what can you do? Re-examine your innovation cycles, shorten decision timelines, stop waiting for perfect, and build cultures that can move, not just plan. Guys, if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, and it would mean a lot to me. Let me know your comments below about your opinions. Thanks, guys. Bye.